whatever that number is, it's going to pale compared to the total population of this city. So let's say we set a God-sized goal to reach 10% of the lost population of Houston in the next 10 years. Do you realize that would more than double the size of Southern Baptist work in the city of Houston? We would have to more than double just to reach 10% of the unreached population in Houston. But we're going to have to set some God-sized goals. And we're going to have to set up some appropriate metrics. We're going to have to start measuring success in different ways. Here's what I know. If you measure yourself by yourself, then you're going to be happy with incremental improvement. So I spoke at an associational meeting in East Tennessee. They almost ran me out. I spoke at an associational meeting in East Tennessee, and they announced that they had 2 baptisms more than they did the year before. And they stood up and applauded. And when I pointed out that their associational population had grown by 20%, and they could only record 2 more baptisms than they did the year before, they weren't real pleased. I have not been invited back there to speak. We've got to come up with different metrics. If you compare yourself only by yourself, you're going to be happy with incremental improvement, and we can't be. And we're going to have to clarify what we anticipate as results. I really do anticipate results. I really do think over the next 10 years it's going to look different than it has the last 10 years. Because I think we're going to do things differently. Let me tell you what we're going to do. As an association of churches, we cannot continue to do as we have done and expect to see any major progress. To do as we have always done guarantees that the church will become more and more marginalized in our city. As a staff, this year, we're going to become focused on generating urgency for the task. Now, some of you have already got it. I've talked to you one-on-one, or you've heard me in meetings like this, and you're already there. But let me tell you, you're at the front. You're at the front of that wave. There is a whole wave of folks behind who have no sense of the urgency of reaching our city. And so we're as the staff, we're going to be focused on generating urgency for the task. To be most effective in reaching the lost, churches are going to have to work less independently and more collectively. And this is a big, oh, you got to be kidding me. Because as Baptists, we are so proud of how independent and autonomous every Baptist church is. How many independent Baptist churches are there? They're all independent Baptist churches. I don't care if they're Free Will or Southern or Hard Shell or what. They're all independent Baptist churches. And what we've got to figure out how to do is how to move from independence to working together collectively and cooperatively as we never have before. And you know what's really hard is that we train our pastors to think independently rather than collectively. And, you know, we're Texans. By golly, I've been in Texas most of my life now. We are Texans, and we are independent folks. So I figure if we can learn how to think collectively here in Houston as Texans and Baptists, by golly, anybody, any place, anywhere can do it. So we can lead the way. As a staff, we're going to bring our churches together collectively in planning strategies to take on lostness. We're going to try and pull folks together. And next week, Jerry and the moderator team are going to meet with me, and we're going to talk about the next steps in bringing folks together collectively to say, how do we solve this problem? And then as individual churches, we need to recognize that we're at different levels. Some churches, they're there. You've got a people group you're focused on, you're planting churches, you're reaching the lost. There are other churches that are so far behind. We're all at different stages. And so we're going to work with churches individually to try and bring them along and move them further along from urgency to action. That is one big task that's ahead of us. Jesus told a parable about sheep. You remember it? 99 were safely in the fold, and one was still wandering around out there someplace, likely in danger. And the shepherd left those safe and secure behind, and he went out in search of that one who was lost. And risked everything in order to reach it. My burden is that in the church, we've so reversed that we're so focused on taking care of the 99. Unfortunately, those numbers have also pretty well reversed. Now we're so focused on taking care of the one while there's 99 out there that are in need of the gospel. And my heart just won't let us stay there. I'd like for us to get together to pray. And here's what I'd like for us to do. I'd like for you to pray for the staff and the moderator team, because we're going to be tasked with providing some leadership. I'd like for you to pray for your churches, that they would sense a stirring and a sense of urgency for the task of reaching the lost in our city, for planting churches, for moving from addition to multiplication. I would ask you to pray that God would bring us together collectively as never before in Union Baptist Association to focus on reaching the lost with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Whether you've been in the city forever or you're brand new to the city, you're a part of this UBA family, and we want to work together to reach the lost. So let's get together, just kind of huddle up.